Good day and welcome to the Manage Self Lead Others podcast, mainly for experienced and emerging people managers. I'm your host, Nina Sunday. I want to thank C-Suite Radio and C-Suite TV for their support, their sponsorship. I really appreciate them. This is the show to help you explore ways to become the best version of yourself at work as a manager. Each episode, you'll hear from some of the brightest business minds on the planet who share your passion to elevate and transform team culture. They share insights in self-leadership and leading others. Together, we can make workplace culture better. Are you ready? Because it's time to manage self-lead others. When I met Sreedhar Bevara in New York City at a C-Suite Network Thought Leaders Summit at the One World Trade Center, little did I know his background. Growing up in India in true slumdog millionaire style, from street vendor to waiter, milk delivery boy to door-to-door salesperson, then gaining his MBA and rising to become general manager of Panasonic Corporation in Dubai. Author of 2 books, Moments of Signal and The Roaring Lambs, Sreedhar Bevara is a life study on how embracing your moments of signals can help you realise your full leadership potential. Passionate about the leadership within us, Sreedhar presents on this topic. I'm speaking with Sreedhar today from the vibrant city of Dubai. Welcome, Sri. Welcome to Manage Self Lead Others. And it's been 2018, we were in New York City together at the Thought Leaders Summit by C-Suite Network at the One World Trade Center, which was next door to the World Trade Center complex now. And we were both guest authors at this event and amongst a few other marvelous authors. And since then, you've written a second book, The Roaring Lambs. So I've got your moment of signal.
I see that.
Yeah. And of course I used Kindle and audiobook to listen to it. I'm loving audiobooks now. And I also found a little trick. I found that 1.2 was the right speed for me to listen to. 1 was just a little too slow, and I just you can adjust it to 1.1 times, 1.2 times. It's like, well, they've gotten really sophisticated with you being able to change the dial to the speed. And it just suited my listening style. So you can also slow it down, of course. So it just enables you to get into the story. But also, I kept seeing the animation film in my mind. It's
exactly.
Has anyone bought the option for the film rights yet?
That's the idea, yes.
Because you are in Africa, the northern tip of Africa, you are in touch with the lions and the Maasai and all the characters that appear in your story. But also, let's just talk a little bit about Moments of Signal first, because the message there, as I understand it, and if you can tell us more about it, is that the universe or life or in the course of your daily existence, little events or synchronicities or coincidences happen that, in a sense, you could take a message from it that says, maybe that's the direction I should move in. Can you tell us more about that in a nutshell, please, Sri?
Thank you, Nina. It's always a pleasure seeing you, meeting you, and speaking to you. It's been 4 years and we have had a wonderful journey together. And I have been observing your success. Manage Self Lead Others. So what a great title that is.
Thank you.
An apt title. Yeah, it is an apt title. And I also notice people are appreciating across the globe. Congratulations. And I'm glad to be part of your program.
Thank you. Thank you.
So to start with Moment of Signal, which we have been speaking for the last few years, is that when you become more conscious about your surroundings, the whole idea is preparing somebody, whoever is wishing to become big, wishing to be aspiring, ambitious, then you have to become more aware of what's happening around. Your awareness means your practice, your preparation, your readiness to face the unknown, because next minute is unknown to us. The environment is totally up against you because it is behaving in its own way. Unless you tune yourself into the frequency of the environment or whichever the area that you want to excel, you will not be as successful as you wish to be. The idea of momentum signal is preparing you to be ready for the challenge that is being thrown up next.
So
Because
to be ready before you need to be ready, so that you are ready, because you have to expect the unexpected, and to go, oh, I'll learn about that, or I'll improve this quality of myself in the future. But if you put it off, when the opportunity comes, you won't be ready, and it'll pass you by. Is that the message?
Yeah. Means you are reducing the bandwidth of failure. That's it.
I like that. Reducing the bandwidth of failure. Very good. I can tell, your meticulous writing comes out in your articulate, pithy statements like that. So there are lots of really interesting statements. In fact, sometimes I think you're almost quoting Shakespeare, but it's you. Shakespeare didn't write it, you did. Right, especially towards the end, especially that final chapter where everything sort of comes to the, I think it's called denouement. Everything comes to a conclusion, just like a Shakespearean play. So I think people could be reading The Roaring Lambs as if it is a Shakespearean play, because there's King Lear, there's Hamlet, there's other kings that are in denial. They're under their own illusion of their own greatness, and that's exactly what the Lion King has. Kaiser, I've got it. Kaiser.
Kaiser, yeah, that's well said. Yes.
So the thing about you now are self-employed with your own consultancy called BMR, which is Morning Rise. What's the first word?
Bright morning
rise. Yes, and there's a charity that you run.
Yes, BMR Trust.
Yeah, and so that bright morning rise is sort of a value that guides you, and you also speak around the world about leadership.
Correct.
What sort of things do you speak about when you're presenting on the topic of leadership?
Well, I am a staunch believer of everyone has the potential to be the greatest leader. And this, if you look at the most magnificent machine on the earth, is the human body. And the most evolved species of the entire universe is humankind. So there is no speciality that somebody is separated because of the IQ or because of whatever they come from, or whatever the backdrop that they are with. Everybody is capable of reaching that evolution, to the next level. It is only your effort, your talent, your approach, and your potential, and then how you can manage your sync with the environment, because that is totally external. So it is very much possible for everyone to reach their maximum potential and then be benefited out of it.
Absolutely.
I mean, why not? So
Absolutely.
my job is to remind them, because I don't think we can advise anybody, because advising, as somebody said, it is fatal. So I wouldn't advise people. But I would like to remind that, listen, you are great. You have the potential. You have the strength. You have the power. Just work on, because practicing with your mind, with your body, makes you better at something that you wish to. So this is what I try to speak to people. That's about it, whether it is younger generation or the seasoned leadership.
That's right. So do you believe it's important that managers understand that their job is to make sure that the junior, their individual contributors and their junior managers are all trained up, because isn't that one of the lessons of the Roaring Lambs, is that the lion, the pride of lions, became complacent, and they stopped teaching. Because hunting was so easy, gaining food was so easy, they stopped to teach the younger lions how to hunt. So when it became not easy, they were really under difficulty, because the young lions didn't have a clue and were not part of a team. That is how lions hunt, is to form a team and to hunt their prey. Otherwise, they go hungry.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. See, lions are known to be, the king of the jungle, not because they can kill anybody. They're not that strong. But the lion is the king of the jungle because of its mentality that it will not go back. It will take on anything. That is why it is the king, not because it is strong enough to kill anything in the jungle.
Oh, they don't retreat.
They don't retreat. This is first thing.
Right.
Knowing they are very powerful, they still go in a very methodical collaboration. Their hunt is in the group.
Right.
There is a lot of planning, collaboration. The lioness go this way, the lion comes that way. They trap the prey, and they know their weaknesses. One person has to know their weaknesses as much they know about their strengths. For example, in the lion's case, lion is not endurable animal. It has the power in the burst, which means the prey, if it is not within the 30-meter range, most likely the lion is going to miss the prey, because the ability to catch the prey within the 30 meters is the highest for the lion. And if it is farther than that, then the prey is going to miss. More chances are there.
And that was very clear in the story, that they were hunting outside of that 30-meter range. And in fact, I should point out that, in a sense, this book, when I started reading and listening to it, it reminded me of two other parable tales. One is Our Iceberg is Melting by John P. Cotter, and it's about penguins on an iceberg that discover that the iceberg, it has cracks underneath, and they have to move to another iceberg. And it's all in parable style, but it's also teaching Cotter's eight-step method model. And then, of course, Animal Farm by George Orwell, which, is very well known, and some really great lessons there about totalitarianism and different the characters' different responses. So you've got different characters. You've got the Lion King. You've got the Lion Queen. You've got the former. Who is it? The Shuja.
Shaka. Shuja. Okay.
Oh yeah, who was the former leader of the lambs. He acts like a double agent.
He's a Shaka. He's a Shaka.
Right. The Shaka. Right.
Shaka. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. He's a double agent. He's kind of left the lambs, and he's now working inside the kingdom. So he gets his comeuppance at the end.
So this story is set up in a way that it reflects the real setting of the humankind's life. And it actually reflects all the walks of the life that is happening parallelly to the modern world of the humankind. One guy is effortlessly strong, and their ambitions are very much collaborative. They have collective objectives. One person is very, very mean. They hoard the information to them. They try to act as if they are centered with their own purpose involved. They have nobody in their collective objectives. And there are weaker sections. There are stronger sections. There are some people who wanted to collaborate with others so that they can face the unknown. So there are different setups in this book to reflect the real society outside. So we do not want to take names outside. So hence we took the animals. As you rightly mentioned, George Orwell's Animal Farm is, yes, one of the books that I've always liked. How the pigs have taken up on the human beings.
And the sheep say chant, 4 legs good, 2 legs bad.
Yes, yes.
They mindlessly chant this slogan. Yeah. But it definitely, the whole idea of a parable and using animals enables you to actually identify the different characters. You can probably identify, if you're working in an office with a lot of characters, you can probably name which, who is who.
Correct.
Of course, the big bully boss that won't listen to anybody, that is full of their own competency, and yet they're in denial about the reality, and in fact had to leave. He was banished in the end, and that's what we're doing. Actually, we want bosses that collaborate, that are managers and leaders who collaborate, and not are victim to their own emotions, or in fact, I saw the 7 deadly sins in there. I mean, you've got Kaiser was victim of his own pride. He was victim of his own sloth. He certainly there was also that element of gluttony, which was, killing more sheep than they could actually eat because they had this lust for killing. So the 7 deadly sins were definitely in there as well as the 7 deadly, workplace characters.
Correct. You're right.
And so, how have people sort of reported back to you about how they've related to the roaring lambs? Tell us about that.
I think I'm so fortunate, and I'm so glad that whatever you just said about what you felt about the book when you were reading, that this book was a sort of an animation in your mind while you're reading. Many, more than 99%, have reported back that they are able to see an animation while they are reading this book.
Right.
And this was originally our idea, that this book must become a feature film and reach more people, to let people know that the collaboration not just happens with the equals. Collaboration means it has to happen with unequals. That is when, between the equal and unequal, the equal is taking a greater step, reaching the unequal,
Right.
knowing that this unequal is also equally important for the whole cycle to run. And I will give you one great example. Why am I saying equal and unequal?
Yep.
If you have read the book Winning of Jack Welch, he comes up with a talk clearly that in an organization, there are, out of 100, there are 5 superstars, and then there are 5% superstars, and there is remaining 95% mediocre, or
That's
the
right.
good.
That's right. Mm-hmm. It also reminds me too, Sri, that the role of a manager and as a leader is to build the capability of their team. So if they deem that somebody is lacking in a skill, it's up to them to find a way to improve their ability in that area. Because most people are happy if you present it to them in a way that is, present the benefits. They're happy to grow their own capability. But I don't think people are naturally lazy. It's something has switched them off if they're choosing not to bring their best selves to work. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Absolutely. So you have to take on board everybody on the ship, because if you are on a ship, everybody's important.
Yeah.
Not just the first officer, second officer, but everybody on the board is equally important for the ship to sail towards and to reach the goal.
Yeah, it's about respect, it's about values, it's about courtesy, and it's taking time to give credit to people. In fact, there's a story about former President Ronald Reagan. Apparently, he used to spend hours every night writing thank you letters, and he was very quick to give credit to other people for things that people would say, oh, you did a great job there. He said, oh, well, it wasn't me. It was also so-and-so. And that shows the humility of the truly great. And that sounds like it's that message that you're sharing.
Two things I would like to mention out of the story that you spoke about, Regan. The one is you should be always quick to appreciate. There's nothing wrong in telling somebody has done a great job, a wonderful job, you did good, you have been support, you have been strength. I mean, it only increases the positivity of the environment. That's one. And if you have to criticize, you have to criticize, you have to bring things on the path. You could do it probably in person or in another way between one on one. But appreciation actually brings the entire environment really shot up. It is a springboard in any environment. Appreciation is a springboard. You can just with one appreciation, you can bring back the mood of the environment to a positive thing, and people are just ready to go. They can keep anything behind, even if the animosity, they can keep it behind because the mood is contagious. Appreciation is contagious.
Tell us why you wrote this book.
This book is an extension of Moment of Signal. Because in Moment of Signal, we spoke extensively about how do you stay aware of what's unknown, what's around you, so that your ability to take a better choice becomes obvious. When you are able to take those better choices, what happens is what is more a part of this Roaring Lamps. In the Roaring Lamps, why we make the lamps roar is not because we neither are interested in making the lamp to demonstrate its new power and strength, nor it is willing to take on anything and then be stupid just to win on anything. The roaring of a lamp is a mere shout of survival. It has a right to fight, to survive. What happens in the law of nature is something beyond our capacity to imagine. Mm. What happens to you and me through the environmental impact is something that we cannot imagine, we cannot fathom. But what we can do is to put up ourselves and give that little fight, because we want to survive. The very nature is empowering you to fight for the survival. It never asked you to just meekly go ahead and give your head. No. The very nature which is up against you is also telling you to, the more you fight, the more you give the effort, the better you can survive, the better you can float around. We are teaching the lambs, the so-called lambs. Lamb is not an animal. Here we are talking about a symbolic characteristic of giving up. Meek, feeble, weak, inferior. Nobody's inferior. Why one has to think that one is inferior? Why don't you train yourself, practice, put your time in bettering yourself? Why don't you do that? Instead, many people, unfortunately, today are just accepting that as their gospel reality, that they are born poor, born weak, born stupid. No. We are telling them, no, you are not born to die just like that.
Yeah, there's a thing called the fixed mindset, which if you have a fixed mindset, you believe that, so you only have a certain set of talents and that's it, and if other people succeed, it's because they've got, that you might compare yourself to others. They have other talents that you'll never have. But here's the thing. If you can't do something, then you can learn to do it, and you can become very, you may not be the most talented person at it, but you can grow that skill. So basically, I suppose the lesson is that if you identify that you have got a skills gap, take the first step to improving your knowledge, your ability, your behavior around that area. So even the same thing with traits. If you're quick to lose your temper, as our Lion King was. He had the deadly sin of wrath. If you're quick to lose your temper, don't say, oh, that's just me. It isn't just you. You can learn anger management. People do it all the time. Right. Yeah. So have you got any examples where people have read The Roaring Lambs and then they found a new desire to improve their position in life?
Yes, I mean, you touched the right point. Okay, when we are talking about, okay, you don't have to be lamb, you don't have to give up, you're not born weak. But imagine that person, set up against a large scaled problem. What do you do? Can anyone alone change or make the things happen? Absolutely not. We have to be together. You have to forge alliances. You have to forge collaborations. Hence, this so-called weak person should have the approach to be able to find out who can be his great collaborator, with whom he or she can lead the fight for the survival. It is an imperative thing for somebody who feels that I'm not enough to face this challenge. Immediately look for collaborations, because collaboration can get you an extra mile. And
yes.
Collaborations
yes, and strategic alliances are very important. I know your book has been very well received by very well-known people like Deepak Chopra and Mark Victor Hansen. And so I think it's going to create some very nice waves and inspire people in a way that is very good for everybody. So well done, Sri. Your second book.
Thank you.
And it's got some momentum. So it's been a real pleasure just seeing your progress as well. From the first time we met, you had your first book, and now it's your second.
The Roaring Lambs has been pronounced by Amazon that it is the most popular book in the business and economics section for 2021. We got the award on 31st of December. So with that, my publisher is also encouraged that they want you to do more books with us.
What is your favorite business book that you've read, in either reading now or have read in the past?
My all-time favorite author is Malcolm Gladwell, and I have read many of his books. And I think currently I'm reading Blink, The Tipping Point, What Dogs Are, Outliers. Each book, he comes up with great stories. He was very fortunate being a journalist at the New York Times. He had great access to great business people for the last 30, 40 years in the American business history. He has got a lot of stories, so he brings a lot of stories, and then he brings it into a lot of relevance. So I think his books, Outliers obviously is one of my favorite books because Outliers tells you put in 10,000 hours, you become excellent in anything that you want. That's it. That is an outlier.
That's exactly that whole thing. Is if you do nothing, nothing will happen. If you put time and energy in, it actually elevates you and brings good things into your life. So that's the message of the Roaring Lambs. So, Sri, so lovely to chat with you again face to face, even though it's over the miles. And perhaps face to face isn't too far away. So
I believe so. Yes.
We'll see you again. And thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Nina. And I wish you great luck. And this is a great initiative. Manage self, lead others. Wow, what a title. I love that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This episode, we've been speaking with Sreedhar Bevara on the Manage Self, Lead Others podcast for experienced and emerging people managers. I'm your host, Nina Sunday. Thank you for listening. Until next time.